Hi, my name is John Meeson, and today I will be defending the Diaphorenes citrate, otherwise known as the Asian citrus psyllid.
Hi, my name is George Scher, and I'll be defending the Anaphora type, also known as the Asian longhorn beetle. Our debate topic is which would be the better invading species, the Asian citrus psyllid or the Asian longhorn beetle.
The adult Asian citrus psyllid are about 3 to 4 millimeters long. Their body is described to be dark brown, whereas their head is light brown. The forewing is broadest in the apical half of their body. They also have a brown band extending around the outer half of the wing. Their antennae are black tipped with two small, light brown spots in the middle. Most Asian citrus psyllid are covered with a whitish, waxy secretion, thus giving them a dusty appearance. Nymph Asian citrus psyllid range from 0.25 to 1.7 millimeters, depending on the instar that they are in. Their color differs from the adults as they are generally a yellowish orange instead of brown. Their antennae have also not yet developed the black tip like the adults. The eggs of the Asian citrus psyllid are almond-shaped. Freshly laid eggs are pale, but usually change their color to orange right before hatching. The eggs are usually laid on plant tissue, with a long axis vertical to the surface of the ground. Eggs are laid on the tips of growing shoots, on and between unfurling leaves. Females may lay more than 800 eggs during their lives. Nymphs pass through 5 instars. The total life cycle requires 15 to 47 days depending upon the season. Adults may live for several months. There is no diapause, but populations are low in the winter, the dry season. There are 9 to 10 generations a year. However, 16 have been observed in field cages. Asian citrus psyllid like to hang around citrus trees and farms, as that is their main target. The Asian citrus psyllid feeds on citrus leaves and stems, and can infect citrus trees with a bacteria that causes a serious plant disease called Huang Longbing, also known as HLB or citrus greening disease. While not harmful to humans, the disease kills citrus trees and has no cure. These insects do a great amount of damage to the harvest of citrus in states like California, Texas, Georgia, and Florida. If a citrus tree is infected with HLB, then it must be removed from the area as it will spread to other trees. Asian citrus psyllid inject a toxin that stops shoot elongation and deforms leaves. This death of the shoot stunts the growth of the tree and eventually kills it. Some unique characteristics about the Asian citrus psyllid is that the nymphs tend to have red eyes that almost seem to glow, and the underside of the adults are usually a greenish color instead of the normal brown like the rest of their bodies.
Asian longhorn beetles are approximately a quarter to an inch and a half long, with very long black and white banded antennae. Their body is glossy black, with irregular white spots, sort of like a Dalmatian. Adults can be seen from late spring to fall, depending on the climate and what region they are in the world. Females chew through the bark down and inject an egg. There is one egg per opposition niche or site into the tree, creating a visible opposition scar on the surface of the tree, kind of like a sap marker if a bear kind of scratched it. The egg sites are often oval or round wounds in the bark. The life stages of the Asian longhorn beetle are as follows. They follow a typical format: egg, larva, pupa, and adult. Nothing really fancy around here. The Asian longhorn beetle's life cycle mostly occurs under the host tree's bark. Some homeowners will not see the egg, larva, or pupal stage. However, once they're mature into adults, their presence becomes known, since adult beetles exit infested host trees by choosing holes into the tree and emerging. So for the most of their life, they are actually inside the tree and not visible, but when they're adults, they actually come out of the trees. According to the University of Vermont Entomology Department, the estimated maximum potential national urban forest impact of the Asian longhorn beetle is a loss of 34.9% of total canopy cover, which is 30.3% of tree mortality, which the percent is about 1.2 billion trees, and an economic loss of about $669 billion. Another impact on human society is the widespread tree loss, which has a potential impact on tourism, recreational values, due to the loss of aesthetic values that the trees and forests possess. Additionally, there isn't much unique about this beetle. It's pretty typical beetle that you'll think of: black, brown, wings, antennae, nothing too special. But there are two unique things. One is that the antenna have 11 different segments, which is kind of cool fact I had no idea about. That was cool to learn about. Um, and while most beetles are black or brown with solid color backs and everything like that, the Asian longhorn beetle actually has white spots on its body, additional to the white spots on its antenna, which kind of separates it from those other insects.
The Asian citruscillid is clearly a superior invading species compared to the Asian longhorn beetle. The first advantage that the Asian citruscillid has over the Asian longhorn beetle is the amount of time it takes for an infestation to fully kill a tree. The Asian longhorn beetle takes a sweet time killing a tree. The death of the tree usually takes place about 7 to 9 years after it infests the tree, as the females have to lay their eggs in the trees and wait for them to hatch in order to attack. This process is repeated generation after generation for years to come in order for them to kill the tree. In comparison, the Asian citruscillid only takes about 24 hours to kill or to cause permanent deformation of leaves and shoots, which will eventually lead to the death of the citrus tree. Once a tree is infected, it must be immediately removed from all other citrus trees around it, as the citrus greening disease will quickly spread and kill those surrounding it.
Well, John, I have to disagree with you here. Have you ever heard the phrase, slow and steady wins the race? Yes. And this is exactly what's proven here. Faster is not always better, but I'm going to have to agree with you here that faster is better for invading. But I forgot one main point, and then it's very important, size. The Asian longhorn beetle and the Asian citruscillid invade two very different types of trees. The Asian longhorn beetle attacks mainly big, deciduous trees in the northern part of the northern hemisphere, whereas the Asian citruscillid mainly attacks citrus trees which are found more in the southern part of the northern hemisphere. This is a big consideration taken into account. Of course, the Asian citruscillid is going to be faster at invading because it attacks much smaller trees. In addition to this, citrus trees are found in warmer, mild temperature-changing climates, whereas the Asian longhorn beetle is predominantly found in Canada, where they have extreme winter and colder temperatures. With this, it will take longer for the Asian longhorn beetle to invade because it has to protect itself during the hard winter, and it's also facing much bigger trees as stated before. While speed may be important for invading, there is one important factor to also consider that was briefly mentioned before: size matters. In World War I, the game-changing force that led to the victory of the Allied powers was size. This changing force was the introduction of tanks into warfare. While the Axis powers in many other countries were using trench warfare, foot fires, etc., the Allied powers were dominating with their size of the tanks. The Asian longhorn beetle is significantly bigger than the Asian citruscillid. It's like comparing a smart car to an 18-wheeler. We all know which one's going to win at this point. With this size, the Asian longhorn beetle will not only be able to defend itself better against predators, but will also be able to cause more damage to trees. By doing this, they'll be able to kill bigger trees rather than killing the cute little citrus trees that the Asian citruscillid does. In addition to having a bigger body, this means that the beetle's wings are bigger, so they're able to fly farther and do more invading, with the ultimate goal of killing the entire species. Furthermore, there are more deciduous forests around the world than there are locations where there are citrus trees. Citrus trees are pretty much common found in warm tropical climates like Florida, Georgia, stuff like that, which allows more effective invasions of species rather than doing small-scale invasions that will affect only a smaller species. Therefore, the Asian longhorn beetle has been proven to be more of an effective invading species.
While it is true that the Asian longhorn beetle is colossal in size in comparison to the Asian citruscillid, you have to remember that size isn't everything. The fact that the Asian citruscillid is smaller in size is actually beneficial to them. The smaller size makes it easier for the human eye to miss them. In comparison, the fact that the Asian longhorn beetle is so large means that the human eye is more likely to recognize them. This means that people are more likely to stop the Asian longhorn beetle in its tracks because they are able to see it whenever it's sitting on their trees. The second reason that the Asian citruscillid is better invading species is because of the type of tree that they go after. Hence their name, the Asian citruscillid targets citrus trees specifically. Citrus is a staple in the world's diet, and the decrease in the amount of citrus in supermarkets would greatly affect the population. The lack of essential ingredients in foods like lemons, limes, oranges, and more would have a significant impact on human society. In comparison, Asian longhorn beetle goes after hardwood trees. While hardwood trees do have a significant impact on human society, it wouldn't be as significant as the detriment of citrus trees.
Well, John, you are indeed correct about citrus being an important part of our diet and our sources of income. I don't see how it would affect our population at all one bit on a large scale. When there's not enough supply of food or anything like that, people just find a substitute for an item to go out and eat something. If there's no lemons, people go buy oranges. Or they get something completely different. They change their diet. One thing that would significantly affect the population and put more of a burden on us rather than not having ingredients or actual fruit is not having wood. If there were less hardwood trees, there would be less houses, paper, tools, etc. All things that are needed for humans to survive and thrive. Without wood to use for shelter to build houses, people won't have kids because they won't be able to support them. Therefore, our population is going to grow. In addition, without things like paper, pencils, other tools, our world and daily life would significantly be diminished and completely different than it is today. We'd be in the Stone Ages again and wouldn't be able to live the lifestyle that we're currently living in today. Before you get your panties in a twist, you might say, well, if trees are dead, that's good for society because we have more wood and we can build all that kind of stuff. However, this is false, because when the beetles go in and invade the wood, they significantly damage it and cause it not to have any structural integrity, basically making it sawdust, so the wood is worthless completely. With this, it is shown that the Asian longhorn beetle is an better invasive species because not only does it put a burden on the hardwood forest, but it also puts a very hard burden on the human society as well.
In conclusion, the Asian citrus psyllid is the pinnacle of invading species. They move fast, they are small in size, which helps them move undetected, and their targets are also a staple of the world's diet. Their fast movement allows them to spread the greening disease rather quickly, within about 24 hours. This means that even if they are discovered on the plant, it is most likely too late to stop them. Imagine having to live in a world where there was no orange juice and no lemon juice. That could become a reality if the Asian citrus psyllid decides to take over. The Asian citrus psyllid isn't usually used in research because the disease that they transfer has no cure. It is important to study them, however. Their presence lets farmers and researchers know how well their trees are doing. Researchers use sticky yellow pieces of paper to trap the Asian citrus psyllid, and then the researchers take that data to see how well their combination of deterrents that they are using is doing.
With all this together, we can see how the Asian longhorn beetle is the more devastating and more explosive invader out of the two beetles that we're debating about. They are bigger, which is very important. They target bigger and more significant trees. Their area of target is much more widespread than the regions that grow citrus trees. And when they do invade, they provide significant burden on the human population, which is the second most important benefactor besides the ecosystem as a whole. Now, without this wood, we wouldn't be able to build houses, provide tools, paper, and many other necessities, and our lives would be very basic and boring, and we wouldn't be able to enjoy ourselves of what we are used to today. Not to mention the first cars made out of wood, in addition to boats, railroad cars, planes, and pretty much any other motorized or even human-powered transportation we currently have, our lives would be way different. Couldn't travel, couldn't work very far. It would be a lot harder to live life. It'd be nearly impossible for people who live in cities, travel, go to college. Also, having access to all our food, water, and even citrus foods that are essential to our daily nutrition would be possible for us to obtain. We couldn't go get this stuff. We couldn't get the lemons and everything like that. Finally, we can see that the Asian longhorn beetle is the better invasive species than the Asian citrus psyllid and causes more devastation, the slogan of an invasive species.